I used to believe I knew exactly where my life was going. I had Emily beside me, and I thought that was enough. Every morning, I checked my phone hoping to see her messages. Every night, I reminded myself that I was lucky. You know you're my favorite person, right? I asked her one evening. Emily smiled. Of course I know. Why do you always worry so much? Because I care about you. I do not want to lose what we have. She held my hand. You will not lose me, Ethan. Stop thinking like that. Those words stayed with me for months. I trusted them even when small things started changing. Emily began taking longer to reply. She looked distracted during our conversations. I noticed, but I kept making excuses. You seem far away lately, I told her. I'm just busy, she replied. Busy with what? She sighed. Ethan, not everything is about us. I have my own life too. Her words hurt, but I apologized anyway. I did not mean to pressure you, I said. I know, she answered. You just need to relax. I tried. I really tried. I stopped asking questions. I gave her space. I thought love meant staying quiet when things felt wrong. Then Daniel came back in her life. I heard his name when Emily mentioned an old friend from school. Daniel? I asked. Yeah, Daniel. Why? Nothing. I just remember you talked about him before. She laughed. You remember everything, don't you? Only things about you. She looked away. That is kind of sweet, but something in her voice felt different. A few days later, I saw her smiling at her phone. Who made you smile like that? I joked. Nobody important. Nobody important? Ethan, you are reading too much into things. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to believe I was wrong. But then she invited me to a party with her friends. I thought it was a chance to fix everything. When I arrived, I saw Daniel standing near Emily. Ethan, you came, Emily said. Of course I came. You invited me. Daniel smiled. Nice to finally meet you. I have heard a lot. I forced a smile. Hopefully good things. Emily laughed. Mostly good. I noticed the way she looked at him. I hated that I noticed. Later, everyone sat together, talking about dreams and relationships. Someone asked me, Ethan, what do you want in the future? I answered honestly. I want to build something meaningful. Maybe my own company someday. Emily laughed softly. I looked at her. What? She shook her head. Nothing. No, tell me. She shrugged. I just think you dream too much sometimes. The room became quiet. I smiled weakly. You think so? Daniel said, dreaming is good. Emily replied, sure, but dreams need reality too. I felt everyone watching me. You never said you felt this way, I told her, because I did not think you would take it seriously. I take everything about you seriously. She looked annoyed. That is the problem, Ethan. I could barely understand what was happening. What problem? She crossed her arms. You make everything so heavy. Daniel can joke around. He does not overthink every little thing. I looked at Daniel. He looked uncomfortable. Emily, maybe this is not the place, I said quietly. Why? It is true. Everyone knows you are too sensitive. That sentence broke something inside me. I had spent so long trying to be enough for her, and she made me feel like my love was a weakness. I stood up. I think I should leave. Emily looked surprised. You are leaving because of one conversation? No, I said. I am leaving because I finally heard what you have been trying not to say. She followed me outside. Ethan, wait. I stopped. Tell me the truth, I said. Do you still want this relationship? She stayed silent. That silence hurt more than any answer. Emily, she looked at me with sadness. I care about you, Ethan, but Daniel is the kind of person I always wanted. I felt my heart drop. Then why did you let me believe I was enough? She looked away. I do not know. I nodded slowly. For the first time, I understood that losing her was not the worst thing. The worst thing was realizing I had been holding on to someone who had already let me go. I walked back home alone, carrying every memory I thought would last forever. My phone kept lighting up, but I did not check it. I already knew no message could repair what happened. Are you okay? Ryan called me later that night. I do not know, I answered. What happened? I stayed quiet for a moment. I lost Emily. Did she leave you? Not exactly. I think I lost her before tonight. I just refused to see it. Ryan sighed. Ethan, you gave her your whole heart. Do not punish yourself because someone failed to value it. I wanted to argue, but I had no strength left. Maybe I was not enough, I whispered. No, Ryan said firmly. Maybe she was not honest enough. Those words followed me through the night. I kept thinking about every sacrifice, every time I chose her happiness over mine, and every moment I ignored my own pain. I loved Emily deeply. That was the truth I could not escape. But I also knew something else. I could not force someone to choose me. I could not beg someone to see my worth. And I could not keep destroying myself just to keep a person who had already found a reason to leave. I looked at my reflection and whispered, "Tomorrow, I start finding myself again." I did not know how hard that journey would become. I only knew one thing. The person who walked away that night was not the same person who arrived there. I woke up the next morning hoping everything had been a nightmare. For a few seconds, I reached for my phone and expected Emily's message. Then I remembered the party, her words, and the way my heart collapsed. My phone had no messages. I whispered, "So this is real." I sat there staring at the wall until Ryan called. "Ethan, answer the phone." I picked up. "Hello." "Finally. I have been calling you." I did not know what to say. "You do not need perfect words. Just talk to me." I stayed quiet. Ryan asked, "Did you sleep?" "Not really." "Did you eat?" "No." "Ethan, please do not do this." I laughed softly. "Do what?" "Act like your pain does not matter." Those words broke through me. I gave her everything, Ryan. I know. I changed my plans for her. I ignored my own feelings. I always tried to make her happy. I know. Then why was I still not enough? Ryan became silent for a moment. "Because this was never about you not being enough." I closed my eyes. "It feels like it was. I understand why you feel that way, but feelings can lie." I wanted to believe him. I spent the day remembering every moment with Emily. Every smile. Every promise. Every time I thought we were building something permanent. Then my phone rang. It was Emily. I stared at her name. Ryan said, "Are you going to answer?" "I do not know." "Whatever you choose, do not forget what happened." I answered, "Hi, Ethan." Her voice sounded gentle. "Hi. I wanted to check on you." "I am fine. Please do not pretend." I almost laughed. "You know something? I learned from the best." "Ethan, I know I hurt you." "Yes, you did. I did not mean for things to happen like this." "How did you think they would happen?" She sighed. I was confused. Confused for how long? Silence. That silence gave me my answer. "Emily, how long?" "A few months." I felt my chest tighten. "Months?" I did not know how to tell you. "You could have tried." I was scared. "You were scared, but I was the one getting hurt." "I still care about you." I looked down. "If you care about me, why did you make me feel worthless?" "I never wanted you to feel that way." "But I did." She became emotional. "Can we meet?" I want to say yes. A part of me wanted to run back and hold on to everything we had. But another part remembered standing alone while she compared me to Daniel. "I need time." "Time for what?" "To think." She lowered her voice. "Are you really giving up on us?" I swallowed. "I do not know." After the call ended, I felt worse. I hated that I still loved her. I hated that one conversation could make me forget all the pain. That evening, Ryan came over. He looked at me and immediately knew. "You talked to her?" "Yes." "How did it go?" "She said she cares." "And I do not know." Ryan sat down. "Ethan, listen carefully. Missing someone does not mean you should return." "I know. Do you?" I looked away. He continued. "You are thinking about the good memories and ignoring the reason you are hurt." I stayed silent. Then I saw a notification on Emily's social media. A photo appeared. It was from a restaurant. Emily was there, with Daniel. My hand started shaking. Ryan noticed. "What happened?" I showed him. His face changed. "Ethan, I cannot believe this." "Maybe there is an explanation." I shook my head. After everything she said, she still went out with him. I felt something inside me disappear. I called Emily. She answered quickly. "Ethan, where are you?" She paused. "What?" "Just answer." "I am outside. With Daniel." Another silence. That was enough. "Yes." I felt numb. "You told me you needed time." "I did." "Then why are you with him?" "I wanted to talk." I smiled sadly. "Talk. Please do not make this worse." "I am making this worse." "No, I mean," I interrupted. "Emily, you already chose." "I never said that." "You did not have to." She became quiet. I heard regret in her voice. Ethan, I am sorry. I believe she was sorry. But sorry was not enough anymore. I loved you. I know. No, you knew I loved you. You did not understand it. I understand now. Now. My voice cracked. Why does everyone understand my value after losing me? She had no answer. I ended the call. Ryan looked at me. What are you going to do? I took a deep breath. I am leaving. Are you sure? No. I looked at my room. But I know staying will destroy me. I packed my things slowly. Every item reminded me of a memory. A picture. A gift. A note. I almost stopped. Then I remembered how alone I felt. I opened my phone and typed one final message. You don't have to choose me anymore. I already chose myself. I looked at the words. For the first time in days, I felt a small piece of strength return. I pressed send. I did not wait for a reply. I did not look back. I walked away from the person I loved because I finally understood something. Love should not require me to lose myself. I carried pain with me, but I also carried a lesson. I could not control Emily's choices, but I could control my own. I knew healing would not happen overnight. I knew I would miss her. Still, I walked forward because staying would mean accepting a love that hurt me. Ryan was right. My heartbreak was not proof that I failed. It was proof that I cared deeply. Now, I had to learn how to care for myself, too. That was my first step toward a better life. The first few days after leaving Emily felt empty. I woke up and reached for my phone, even though I knew there would be no message I wanted to see. My apartment was quiet. Too quiet. I sat on my bed and stared at the ceiling. Who am I now? I whispered. For so long, my life had been about Emily. Her happiness. Her problems. Her dreams. I forgot about my own. Then my door opened. Ethan. I looked up. Mia. My younger sister walked in holding 2 cups of coffee. You look terrible. I gave a weak smile. Nice to see you too. She handed me a cup. I am serious. You look like someone who stopped caring about himself. I looked away. Maybe I did. Mia sad bisi deme. Tell me the truth. I already told you what happened. No, you told me what Emily did. I want to know what happened to you. Her question hurt because I knew the answer. I lost myself. Mia nodded. Finally, you admitted it. I looked at her. What do you mean, finally? Ethan, before Emily, you were different. Different how? You had goals. You laughed more. You talked about your future. I stayed quiet. Mia continued. Then every conversation became about her. Because I loved her. I know. Then why does everyone act like loving someone was my mistake? She shook her head. Loving her was not your mistake. Forgetting yourself was. Her words stayed with me. For the first time, I stopped blaming myself for caring. I started with small things. I cleaned my apartment. I fixed my sleeping schedule. I started going to the gym. The first day was horrible. I looked at myself in the mirror and barely recognized who I had become. A trainer walked over. First time here. Yeah. Looking for a change? I nodded. I need one. He smiled. Good. That means you are ready. Every day I push myself. Not because I wanted Emily to regret losing me. Because I wanted to respect myself again. Ryan noticed the difference too. He called me one evening. Something sounds different. What? You. I laughed. That is a strange thing to say. No, seriously. You sound alive. I am trying. Good. I still think about her sometimes. Ryan sighed. That is normal. I hate that. Why? Because she hurt me. Pain does not disappear just because someone hurt you. I looked out the window. I just want to stop caring. You will. But do not force it. I slowly started focusing on my career. I stayed late at work. I learned new skills. I made plans that did not include Emily. A few weeks passed. Then my phone rang. It was Emily. I stared at her name. Olmi would have answered immediately. Numi waited. Finally, I picked up. Hello. She sounded surprised. Ethan. Yes. You answered. Did you call for a reason? There was a pause. I wanted to check on you. I am okay. You sound different. I smiled slightly. Is that bad? No. I just. She stopped. Just what? I expected you to be angry. I was. And now? Now I'm moving forward. She became quiet. I miss talking to you. I looked at my phone. I understand. That's all. What do you want me to say? I do not know. I realized something. She was used to me chasing her. She was waiting for the old Ethan. The one who begged. The one who apologized. But I was not him anymore. Emily. I hope you're doing well. That sounds like something a stranger would say. Maybe that is what we are now. She took a breath. Ethan, can we meet? I thought about it. A few months ago, I would have agreed instantly. But now I ask myself a different question. Would meeting her help me? Or would it pull me backward? Not today. She sounded shocked. Not today. I have things to do. You never talked like this before. I know. After the call, I sat quietly. A small part of me felt guilty. But Mia's words came back. I was a person before Emily. And I was becoming one again. That weekend, Mia visited. She looked around my apartment. Wow. What? You actually cleaned. I laughed. Very funny. I'm proud of you. I looked at her. For cleaning. For choosing yourself. That meant more than she knew. I smiled. I thought I would never get here. Get where? To a place where I do not feel like I need her. Mia nodded. That is growth. I leaned back. I still remember everything. That is okay. I remember the good moments too. Of course. I loved her. Mia looked at me. And maybe someday, you will remember her without hurting. I hope she was right. The next day, I saw Emily outside my office. I stopped. She looked at me. You really changed. I looked at her. For a moment, I remembered the person I used to be. The person who would run back. The person who would ignore his own pain. But that person was gone. I took a breath. No. She looked confused. No. I shook my head. You changed. She waited. I answered calmly. No. I just stopped losing myself for you. Her expression changed. For the first time, she understood. I was not trying to punish her. I was not trying to make her jealous. I was simply no longer the person who forgot his own worth. And that scared her more than anger ever could. I thought moving on would make me forget everything. I was wrong. Some memories do not disappear. They just become quieter. I was sitting at a coffee shop with Ryan when he looked at me. You know something? I looked up. What? You seem calmer. Is that surprising? A little. I smiled. Why? Because a few months ago, you could barely say Emily's name without breaking. I looked down at my coffee. I still remember. I know, but remembering is different now. Ryan nodded. That means you are healing. I wanted to believe that. Then my phone rang. It was someone I did not recognize. Hello. Is this Ethan? Yes. Who is this? My name is Lucas. I frowned. Do I know you? Not really, but I think we need to talk. Ryan looked at me. Who is it? I covered the phone. I do not know. Then I asked, why do you want to talk to me? Lucas answered carefully. It is about Daniel. My expression changed. Why would you talk to me about him? Because I know things you should know. I almost ended the call. Then he said something that stopped me. Emily is not happy. I stayed silent. What happened? Lucas sighed. Can we meet? I hesitated. Part of me wanted to say no. Daniel was no longer my problem. But another part of me was curious. Fine. Later that day, I met Lucas. He looked nervous. I appreciate you coming. Just tell me why I am here. Lucas nodded. Daniel is not who everyone thinks he is. I crossed my arms. Everyone. People see his confidence. They see his success. They do not see what happens when nobody is watching. I looked away. Why are you telling me this? Because I was his friend for years. And now I'm not sure I know him. I listened. Lucas continued. Daniel loves attention. He likes being admired. But when someone stops making him feel important, he loses interest. I laughed softly. Sounds familiar. Lucas looked at me. I know what Emily did hurt you. You have no idea. Maybe not. But I know she thought she was choosing something better. I stayed quiet. And now? Lucas sighed. Now she realizes she made a mistake. Those words should have made me happy. They did not. They only made me feel tired. A few days later, I saw Emily. She looked different. Not physically. Emotionally. She looked like someone carrying regret. Ethan. I stopped. Emily. Can we talk? I looked at my watch. About what? About everything. I nodded. Okay. We sat down. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she said, I was wrong. I looked at her. I believe you. She seemed surprised. You do? Yes. Then why do you sound so distant? Because I remembered. I remembered standing alone. I remembered begging someone to choose me. I remembered feeling worthless. Because understanding your mistake does not erase what happened. She looked down. I know. Do you? She looked back at me. Yes. Then you know why things cannot just go back. She took a deep breath. Daniel was not what I thought. I stayed silent. He changed after I was with him. I almost laughed. People usually show who they are eventually. I thought he was everything I wanted. And was he? She looked away. No. I felt something strange. Not happiness. Not revenge. Just sadness. The person I loved was finally seeing what I saw. But it was too late. Emily, I need to ask you something. What? When you were with me, did you ever feel like I was not enough? Her eyes became emotional. Please answer honestly. She looked down. Sometimes. That hurt, even though I expected it. Why did you stay? Because I cared about you. Caring is not the same as loving someone. She wiped her eyes. I know. I looked at her. I spent months trying to prove my worth to someone who already doubted me. I'm sorry. I know. You keep saying that. Because I do not know what else to say. I understood that. There are moments when apologies become too small. I wanted you to fight for me, she whispered. I looked at her. I did. She froze. I fought every day. My voice became quieter. I fought when you became distant. I fought when you compared me to him. I fought when I felt alone. She looked hurt. And I lost. No, Ethan. Yes. I shook my head. I lost myself. Silence filled the space between us. Then she said, "Can you forgive me?" I thought about it. I think someday I can. Her face softened. But forgiveness does not mean I return. She looked at me. Why? Because I finally understand my value. She looked away. I knew she wanted the old answer. She wanted me to say I would wait. She wanted me to promise I would always be there. But I could not do that anymore. Later that night, I talked to Ryan. He asked, "How did it go?" She apologized. What do you feel?" I thought carefully. Confused. Why? Because part of me wanted her to regret everything. And the other part still remembers loving her. Ryan nodded. That is normal. I hate that it is. You are human, Ethan. I looked out the window. I thought seeing her lose Daniel would make me feel better. Did it? No. What did it do? I answered honestly. It showed me that winning without her was never the goal. Ryan smiled. You finally understand. The next morning, Emily sent me a message. I opened it. I lost the only person who truly loved me. I stared at those words. A year ago, I would have run back. But now, I only felt sadness. Not because I wanted her again. Because I knew what it felt like to lose someone who mattered. And I knew she had finally learned the lesson I learned the hard way. I thought I knew the worst pain already. I was wrong. The truth had a different kind of weight. The truth did not break my heart once. It broke every memory I thought was real. I was at work when my phone received a message from an unknown number. Ethan, I need to tell you something. I replied, Who is this? The answer came quickly. Lucas. I remembered him. Why are you contacting me? Because you deserve to know everything. I stared at the screen. I already know enough. No, you do not. Those words bother me. What happened? Lucas sent me screenshots. I opened them. My hands became cold. The messages were between Emily and her friend. They were months old. I read every line. Emily, are you sure about Ethan? I don't know. Sometimes I think Daniel understands me better. Then why stay? Because Ethan loves me. I stopped reading. That sentence hurt more than I expected. She stayed because I loved her, not because she loved me the same way. I kept scrolling. I feel guilty because Ethan tries so hard. Then talk to him. I can't. He will get hurt. I laughed quietly. She was afraid of hurting me while hurting me every day. I called Lucas. Why did you send this? Because I saw what happened. What else did she say? Lucas paused. There is more. I closed my eyes. Tell me. She compared you to Daniel a lot. I felt my chest tighten. Ow! She said Daniel was more confident, more exciting, more like the person she imagined. I looked away. And what did she say about me? Lucas became silent. Lucas. He finally answered. She said you were safe, but not the person she dreamed about. That hurt. Not because Daniel was better, because I realized I was competing in a game I never agreed to play. I thanked Lucas and ended the call. A few minutes later, Sarah walked by my desk. You look like you just received bad news. I quickly locked my phone. I'm fine. She smiled. That was not a convincing answer. I looked at her. You always notice everything. Not everything. Just when someone is pretending. I sighed. Maybe I am bad at hiding things. Maybe you are tired of hiding. Her words surprised me. Sarah was new at work. We had talked before, but never deeply. How do you do that? Do what? Understand people so quickly. She laughed. I don't. I just listen. I looked at my phone again. Sarah noticed. Is it about someone who hurt you? I nodded. Yes. Someone important? Very. She sat across from me. Do you still care? I looked down. I did not know how to stop. Sarah nodded. Maybe you don't have to stop caring. Maybe you just need to stop letting that person control your peace. That sentence stayed with me. That evening, I met Emily. I needed answers. Not revenge. Not anger. Just truth. She looked nervous when she saw me. You wanted to talk? Yes. She sat down. I know about the messages. Her face changed. What messages? Do not pretend. She looked away. Lucas showed you. Yes. Silence followed. How long were you feeling this way? She whispered, I don't know. Try. She looked at me. Months. I nodded slowly. Months. Ethan, I was confused. No. She looked surprised. No. You were not confused. You were afraid to be honest. I did not want to hurt you. But you did. I know. You made me question myself. Her eyes filled. I never wanted that. But it happened. She looked down. I should have talked to you. Yes. I should have told you I was struggling. Yes. I made mistakes. I stayed calm. You did. She looked at me. Why are you not angry? I was angry. Then why are you calm? Because I had spent enough time destroying myself over someone else. I answered honestly. Because anger cannot change what happened. Emily wiped her eyes. I lost respect for you. I looked at her. That is the part that hurts most. I know. No, listen. She became quiet. I could accept that you love someone else. I could accept that things changed. I took a breath. But knowing you looked at me every day while feeling that way destroyed my trust. She started crying. I'm sorry. I believe you. Then why does it feel like you are leaving forever? Because I am. She looked shocked. Ethan, I loved you. But love without trust is not enough. Later, Sarah and I talked after work. She asked, Are you okay? I nodded. More than before. Did you get closure? I thought about it. Maybe. What does that mean? It means I finally stopped looking for answers from someone who hurt me. Sarah smiled. That sounds like progress. I smiled back. Maybe it is. The next day, Emily called. I answered. Ethan. Hi. Can I ask you something? Sure. Her voice shook. Did you ever love me? I closed my eyes. I remembered everything. The happiness. The pain. The memories. I answered quietly. I did. That's why losing you hurts so much. The line went silent. For the first time, I knew I was not speaking from pain. I was speaking from acceptance. And that changed everything. After that call, I sat alone and realized something important. I was not broken because Emily left me. I was healing because I finally chose myself. For so long, I searched for approval from someone who could never give it. Now I wanted a life built on honesty and respect. Sarah did not promise me perfection. She showed me patience. That was something I never understood before. I did not need someone to complete me. I needed someone who accepted me. And finally, I started accepting myself too. The past was still part of me, but it no longer controlled me. I was ready for whatever came next in my life. I used to think revenge would make me feel better. I imagined Emily realizing what she lost. I imagined her regretting every word, every action, and every moment she made me feel small. But when that moment finally came, I felt nothing like I expected. I was sitting with Ryan when he asked me, Do you still think about getting revenge? I looked at him. Sometimes. He nodded. At least you were honest. I used to want her to feel the same pain I felt. And now? I looked outside the window. Now I just want peace. Ryan smiled. That is a big change. Is it? Yes. The old Ethan wanted answers. This Ethan wants a future. I stayed quiet. Maybe he was right. For months, I had been carrying anger like it was protecting me. But all it did was keep me connected to the person who hurt me. I focused on my work. I started planning my future. I stopped checking Emily's social media. I stopped wondering who she was with. I thought healing meant forgetting. I was wrong. Healing meant remembering without letting the memories control me. Sarah noticed the change. We were walking after work when she said, You seem happier. I smiled. Do I? Yes. That is surprising. Why? Because I still have bad days. She nodded. Everyone does. I thought being better meant never feeling pain again. Sarah looked at me. Who told you that? No one. Then why believe it? I laughed. You always have an answer. No. I just ask questions. I looked at her. You are different. Different how? You do not try to fix me. Sarah smiled. Because you are not broken. That sentence stayed with me. I looked away. Sometimes I feel like I am. She became serious. Why? Because I trusted someone completely and lost myself. Ethan, trusting someone was not your mistake. It feels like it was. It was not. I sighed. I am scared. Of what? Of doing everything again. Sarah understood immediately. Getting close to someone? Yes. Because you think they will leave? I nodded. She walked quietly beside me. Then she said, I cannot promise you nobody will ever hurt you. I looked at her. But I can promise I will always be honest with you. I did not know why, but those words meant more than a perfect promise. Because Emily had promised forever, and she still left. Honesty mattered more. A few days later, I saw Emily again. She asked to meet. I almost refused. The old me would have rushed there. The new me thought first. Finally, I agreed. When I arrived, she looked nervous. Ethan. Hi. She looked at me. You really changed. I smiled slightly. I have heard that before. She looked down. I miss you. I stayed silent. I know I hurt you. Yes. I know I made a mistake. Yes. She looked surprised. That is all you have to say? What do you want me to say? I do not know. I looked at her. Emily, what are we doing? She became emotional. I want another chance. I took a deep breath. The words I once dreamed about hearing were finally in front of me. But they did not bring happiness. They brought memories. I spent so long wishing you would say that. She looked hopeful. But I looked away. But now I understand why you left. She shook her head. No, Ethan. Yes. You are acting like I never cared. I never said that. Then what are you saying? I thought carefully. I'm saying you cared about me, but not enough to choose me when it mattered. Her eyes filled with tears. I was wrong. I know. I would do anything to fix it. I looked at her. For a second, I saw the Emily I loved. The person who laughed with me. The person who held my hand. The person I thought I would grow old with. Then I remembered the night everything changed. I remembered standing alone. I remembered feeling like I was nothing. She reached for my hand. Ethan, please. I pulled back gently. Not angrily. Not cruelly. Just honestly. I cannot. Why? Because going back would mean ignoring everything I learned. I can change. I believe you. She looked confused. Then why? Because I changed too. She started crying. I never wanted to lose you. But you did. The words hurt both of us. But they were true. Later, I talked to Sarah. She noticed something was wrong. Did you see Emily? I nodded. Yes. How do you feel? I thought about it. Sad. Sad. Not because I want to return. She waited. Because I realized something. What? I spent so much time wanting her to regret losing me. And when she finally did, I realized I already moved on. Sarah smiled softly. That is freedom. I nodded. I think it is. Ryan called that night. How did everything go? She wanted me back. There was silence. And I said no. Ryan laughed softly. Never thought I would hear that. Neither did I. Are you okay? I looked at my life. My work. My progress. My peace. Yeah. Really? Yeah. For the first time, I meant it. I did not hate Emily. I did not want her to fail. I did not want revenge. I just wanted to live. The next morning, Emily sent me a message. I would do anything to go back. I stared at the screen. A part of me wanted to answer with anger. Another part wanted to comfort her. But I knew both choices belonged to the old me. I typed slowly. I wish I could too, but I'm not that person anymore. I sent it. Then I placed my phone down. I did not feel victory. I felt peace. And that was something revenge could never give me. Life became quieter after I stopped fighting with my past. I still had memories of Emily, but they no longer control my days. I woke up thinking about my goals instead of my mistakes. I worked harder. I laughed more. I started enjoying simple moments again. One evening, Sarah and I were sitting outside after work. She looked at me and smiled. You seem different. I laughed. Everyone keeps saying that. Maybe because it is true. Is that a good thing? She looked at me. Yes. Why? Because before, you looked like someone waiting for his life to begin. I thought about that. And now you are actually living. Her words made me smile. For a long time, I believed losing Emily meant losing my future. But I was wrong. I lost someone who did not choose me. I found myself. My phone suddenly rang. I saw Emily's name. Sarah noticed. You do not have to answer. I looked at the screen. I know. What are you going to do? I thought for a moment. I will answer. I picked up. Hello. There was silence. Then Emily spoke. Hi, Ethan. Hi. Can we talk? Is everything okay? She laughed sadly. Not really. I felt a strange feeling. Not excitement. Not anger. Just concern. What happened? I finally understand everything. I stayed quiet. What do you mean? I thought I wanted a different life. She paused. I thought Daniel was everything I needed. I listened, but I was wrong. I looked down. Emily, no, let me finish. Her voice shook. I confused attention with love. I said nothing. I thought someone impressive would make me happier. And did it? No. Her answer was immediate. No. I closed my eyes. She continued. I lost myself chasing something that was never real. Those words surprised me, because months ago, I was the one saying them. I am sorry, Ethan. I looked away. For what? For making you feel like you were not enough. I stayed silent. Because you were. My chest tightened. I never wanted to hear those words after everything. But hearing them now felt different. Why are you telling me this? Because you deserve the truth. I nodded. Thank you. She became quiet. That is all. What else should I say? I don't know. I understood. Sometimes people wanted a reaction. They wanted anger. They wanted tears. They wanted proof they still mattered. But I was not there anymore. I forgive you, Emily. Her voice became softer. You do? Yes. Then maybe... I interrupted gently. Forgiving you does not mean going back. The silence that followed was painful, but necessary. I know. Do you really? Yes. I heard her breathing. I just wanted to know if there was any chance. I looked at the street outside. A year ago, I would have given anything for this moment. But now I understood something. Getting someone back was not always winning. Sometimes moving forward was. I hope you find peace. She whispered. I hope you do too. After the call ended, Sarah looked at me. You okay? I nodded. Yes. Really? Yes. She smiled. You sound sure. Because I am. The next week, I focused on my life. I spent more time with Ryan and Mia. Ryan noticed my mood. You finally look free. I smiled. Maybe I am. He leaned back. Do you miss her? I thought about it. I miss who I thought she was. Ryan nodded. That is different. Yeah. Mia also noticed. You are smiling more. I laughed. Is everyone watching me? She smiled. We were worried. I know. And now? Now I am okay. She looked proud. Good. A few days later, I saw Emily one last time. Not because we planned it. Not because I wanted answers. It just happened. She was standing outside a store when she saw me. Ethan. I stopped. Hi. She smiled sadly. You look happy. I am. She nodded. I can tell. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she said, I wanted to thank you. For what? For being someone who truly loved me. I looked at her. Emily, I know I do not deserve another chance. I stayed quiet. But I needed to admit something. What? I thought losing you would make me feel nothing. She looked down. But it was the opposite. I listened. I lost the person who cared about me when I was difficult. I looked away. I care because I loved you. I know. No, you understand now. She nodded. Yes. There was no anger between us. Only two people who had changed. I hope you're happy. I am trying. Good. She smiled slightly. Are you? I thought about Sarah. My goals. My peace. Yes. She nodded. I guess that is what I wanted. What? To know you would be okay without me. I smiled. I am. Her eyes became emotional. You really walked away. I looked at her. For a moment, I remembered the person I used to be. The person who begged. The person who waited. The person who forgot himself. Then I smiled. You taught me how. She looked down. I am sorry. I know. This time, those words were enough. Not because they changed the past, but because I no longer needed them to. I walked away from Emily without anger, without hate, without wanting her to suffer. I walked away because I finally understood my worth. And that was the victory I had been searching for all along. I used to believe losing Emily was the end of my life. Now, when I look back, I understand it was the beginning of a different one. I spent months carrying pain that I thought would never leave. I remembered the party, her words, and the moment I realized I was holding on to someone who had already let go. But I'm not the same person anymore. Ryan noticed it first. We were sitting together when he said, "You know what is different about you?" I smiled. Everyone keeps saying that. Because everyone can see it. See what? You are not fighting your past anymore. I looked down. I guess I am not. Ryan nodded. Do you still think about everything? Sometimes. Does it hurt? I thought about his question. Not like before. Why? Because I stopped asking why I was not enough. Ryan smiled. That is the answer you needed. I looked outside and remembered how many nights I blamed myself. I thought if I was better, Emily would have stayed. I thought if I tried harder, she would choose me. But love should never feel like a competition. Mia reminded me of that too. When I visited her, she looked at me and laughed. What? She smiled. You actually look happy. I am. Really happy? I nodded. Yes. She sat down. I never thought I would hear you say that. Why? Because after Emily, you looked lost. I accepted that. I was. And now? Now I know who I am. Mia smiled. Good. I looked at her. You helped me. She shook her head. No, Ethan. I only reminded you of something you forgot. What? That you mattered too. Those words meant more than she knew. I spent so much time trying to prove my value that I forgot I already had it. My life slowly changed. My work improved. My confidence returned. My heart became calmer. Sarah was a big part of that change. One evening, we walked after work. She asked, "Are you still afraid?" I knew what she meant. Sometimes. Of trusting someone? Yes. She nodded. I understand. I looked at her. You're not scared? I am human too. I smiled. But you act so calm. Because I know something. What? Every new person is not the same as the person who hurt you. I stayed quiet. She was right. I had been protecting myself from a future that had not happened. Sarah? Yes. Thank you. For what? For being patient. She smiled. I did not fix you. I know. You fixed yourself. I thought about that. Maybe she was right. Emily did not destroy me. She revealed parts of myself I had ignored. The pain forced me to grow. A few months later, I saw Emily again. It was unexpected. She looked at me. Ethan. Hi. She smiled softly. You seem different. I laughed. I guess I am. She nodded. I heard you were doing well. I am. There was a pause. Then she said, I used to think losing me would destroy you. I looked at her. I thought so too. She looked surprised. You did? Yes. I was honest. I thought you were everything. And now? I smiled. Now I know you were important, but you were not everything. She looked down. I hurt you. Yes. I wish I could change that. I know. I am sorry. I believed her. For the first time, I did not need her apology. I had already healed. I forgive you. She looked at me. Thank you. I nodded. But I hope you understand something. What? I cannot return to the past. She took a breath. I know. I think that was the first time we both accepted the truth. Some people are meant to teach us lessons, not stay forever. That night, I sat alone and thought about my journey. I remembered the version of myself who begged to be chosen. I remembered the person who ignored his own pain. I remembered the moment I walked away. I used to think leaving Emily meant losing. Now I knew it was winning. Not because she regretted it. Not because her life changed. But because I found myself again. Ryan, Mia, and Sarah stayed beside me through every step. They reminded me that love was not about losing yourself. It was about finding someone who respected the person you already were. I no longer carried anger. I no longer wanted revenge. I no longer needed anyone to understand my worth. I understood it myself. I looked at my reflection and smiled. The person looking back was someone I finally recognized. Someone stronger. Someone calmer. Someone who survived. My story was never really about Emily leaving. It was about me learning how to stay with myself. Sometimes losing someone feels like the end. Sometimes heartbreak feels like a punishment. But sometimes the person who breaks your heart is the reason you finally discover your strength. The road ahead was not perfect, and I knew that. I still had fears, doubts, and moments when old memories returned. But I no longer ran from them. I accepted them as proof that I had lived, loved, and learned. I stopped measuring my happiness by what I lost. I started measuring it by what I built. Every morning became a reminder that I had another chance. Every challenge became a chance to grow. I did not become stronger because I never suffered. I became stronger because I refused to let suffering decide who I would become. I chose peace, honesty, and a future that belonged to me. That was the person I wanted to be. I finally understood that my past could stay behind me without disappearing. I could remember everything and still move forward with hope in my heart. I trusted my journey and believed in myself again every day. I walked away from the person who broke me, and for the first time in years, I walked toward myself.